Students, welcome to my today's topic. Today our topic is IT, Information Technology, code number 402. Actually our lessons that will start that conforms to the guidelines and objectives as laid down in the revised syllabus for class 9 of Information Technology, code number 402, a vocational course of the CBSE under National Skills Qualification Framework NSQF scheme. Actually, NSQF is a quality assurance framework that organizes all qualifications on the basis of different levels of knowledge, skill and aptitudes. Okay. So all these levels are defined in terms of learning outcomes which a learner must possess, regardless of whether they are obtained through formal, non-formal or informal learning. Okay. So the main object of this chapter is to impart the procedural knowledge and skills to students that will enable them to excel and even successful in real life situations. Okay. So the first unit is communication skills, as it discusses the different methods of communication such as verbal, non-verbal and visual. So in this lesson we will explain the meaning of communication and importance of communication skills. Okay. So now the first question is, what is communication? Actually, communication refers to a process of exchanging facts, ideas, thoughts, beliefs or opinions between two or more individuals. That means I and you or we and you. Okay. By means of verbal or non-verbal language. Okay. So here we can consider it as good communication if it is characterized by the active participation of both the parties, speakers who speaks as well as the listeners who listen. Now the process of communication includes encoding, channeling and imparting the information by sender to a receiver with the help of a medium. Okay. So basically communications means to exchange the thought, ideas, beliefs, opinions between two or more individuals. Okay. So here communication process is different from speaking and listening processes. In this process, the speaking involving the encoding of idea or message and expressing the message verbally or non-verbally. Now the listening process involves hearing, decoding and understanding the message. Okay. So now we take a simple example to understand the fact of communication. Here it is, communication cycle. Okay. So communication cycle is the cycle that is the entire process of communication in which the message is originated and sent to the right person through a proper medium. Okay. So here the communication cycle consists of 7 basic elements, that is, number 1 is sender, then message, then encoding, then communication channel, then decoding, receiver and feedback. Okay. So the response or feedback received from the recipients opens the way to further communication between both parties. Okay. So the person who receives the message interprets the message and responds to it. Okay. So now with this diagram we can actually visualize the communication process. So here you can see that from the source it is going to encoding, then message is going to channel, then decoding, then it comes to receiver, and at last receiver gives a feedback to the source. Okay, that is the communication cycle. Now we will be describing about the elements of the communication cycle. So here in this previous picture we got that the basic elements are sender, number 2 ideas or message, number 3 encoding, then communication channel, then receiver, then decoding, and at last it is feedback. Okay, got it? Now we will learn one by one all this term. Now first of all, it is sender. So it refers to a party or agent who sends the intended message to another party or agent. Okay, so it is also referred as a source in the process of communication. So communication process starts from source, that is sender. Now the second part is ideas or message, that refers to the subject matter that the sender wishes to convey to the receiver. It may be the opinion, it may be the attitude, it may be the feelings, it may be the view, order or suggestion. Okay, then the next term comes, that is encoding, which refers to a process that puts the thoughts in a framework of symbol or words. Got it? Okay, next one is receiver. So receiver refers to a party or agent who received the sent message by the sender. Okay, so the receiver is also called the audience or destination. Got it? Next point is, so decoding refers to the process of analyzing the receiving message and understanding its intended meaning. Okay, and at last we get feedback. So the response of the receiver to the message of the sender is known as the feedback. Okay, so this part of the communication cycle establishes a two-way communication between the receiver and the sender. Okay, so it can be an acknowledgement of receiving the message or reply to the message. Okay, so if we go in the previous slide, we will have all this. So here it is the source. Okay, next the message is going from source to encoding, then the channel, that is communication channel, then it goes for decoding. Okay, and at last it is taken by the receiver, and then receiver gives a feedback to the source. Okay, got it? Okay, so now we will be talking about the effective communication. So already we know what is communication. Okay, so to communicate we need sender, we need receiver. Okay, this is the basic term. But we can say a communication established between two individuals is effective when only if the receiver interprets the message as desired by the sender. For example, a business communication is called as effective when it has 7 qualities. Okay, so a communication need to have 7 qualities to become a effective communication. That are known as the 7 C's or 7 principle of effective business communication. Okay, so here are the points. So number 1 is clarity, number 2 is completeness, then conciseness, then consideration, then correctness, then concreteness, and at last it is cursive. Okay, so a communication is known as the effective communication when it has all these points. Okay, So we will be looking for all these points. So here, what do you mean by clarity? Actually, when we are communicating with each other, we have to use a simple language. Okay, got it? So moreover, the communication should be clear enough so that the receiver can easily understand the message of the sender. Okay, next is completeness. So completeness implies that communication should contain all the information that are necessary to get the desired response from the sender. Okay, and on the other hand, the sender should answer all the questions asked by the receiver and pay attention to all minute details. Okay, next is conciseness. It implies that the message should be free from superfluous details, okay, which helps in saving time of both the sender and receiver. Got it? Then the next point is consideration. Consideration requires preparing the message, keeping the recipient in mind. A sender, while sending the message, should take into consideration the views, thoughts, background, mindset and education level of the receiver and vice versa. Okay. Next point is correctness. So you always should remember that whenever you are trying to make a effective communication, the message should state accurate facts and figures. Okay, that is correctness. And when the message should be specific and to the point, then it is known as the concreteness. Okay, so these 2 points are very much vital: concreteness and correctness. And last one is courtesy, which constitutes one of the important elements of an effective business communication. Okay, so always you have to be polite to the others whom you are talking to. Okay, go to the next slide. Now we will be talking about the barrier to communication. Okay, so irrespective of the paths of communication flows, there are certain barriers that prevent the facilitation of effective communication. These barriers are called communication barriers, like physical barriers, semantic barriers, socio-psychological barriers, organizational barriers, personal barriers. Okay, so all these barriers are the barriers to the path of communication. Okay, so if we take all the barriers one by one, physical barriers occur due to the discrepancy in the perception of the receiver or the sender. Okay, personal barriers comprises factors such as attitude toward the superiors, colleagues and other employees working in the organization. Okay, then organizational barriers. So organizational barrier include those communication barriers that are caused because of excessive formality and rigidness in the organizational structures. So these type of barriers arise because of complexity in organizational policies and rules and lack of communication facilities. Okay, the next point is socio-psychological barriers, that involves factors like the psychological needs and feelings of a person, place in society, status in the hierarchical structure of the organization, differences in attitude, family background, cultural differences, all are the prime barriers in the communication process. Okay. Then the barriers is semantic barriers. Semantic barriers refer to the difficulties that occur in communication because the same word or symbol is interpreted in different ways by different individuals. This is very much important. For example, in some European countries such as Portugal, red flag indicates danger, whereas in Korea, white flag is used to give the same response. Okay, so the misinterpretation of symbols or words leads to the failure of communication. Okay, got it? So now the question is how to overcome all these barriers. So go to the next slide. So there are various ways to overcome barriers, like number 1, choose the right medium and right time for the information to be sent. Number 2 is right kind of language or words should be used that may have positive effect on the receiver. Number 3 is cultural barriers should be understood carefully and avoided as well. Then the most important is speak less, listen more is a famous saying. God has given you 2 ears and 1 mouth, hence use them in proper order. Then the next point is practice empathy and you can never go wrong. Speak to others as you want others to speak to you. Okay. Next, be courteous to all. Okay. You can ensure that there is a two-way communication. So it depends on both sender and receiver. So encourage open communication to encourage your subordinates to come forward and discuss related to the goals of the organization. So communication can never be effective without the proper feedback system in place. Therefore, seek feedback and give clarification whenever required. Okay. So here the process of overcoming the barriers. Okay. So good communication skills are important to one's personal, academic and professional success. The basic skills required at the entry level of today's jobs are communication skills, and this includes all aspects of communication, that is verbal, non-verbal and as well as the listening skills. Okay. Even for building good personal professional relation, you require good interpersonal skills for which you need to have excellent communication skills. Okay. Sorry. In an organizational context, communication involves conveying orders, instructions and information to achieve the desired level of performance of employees. Okay. So we will be discussing about some common one-liners frequently used in business communications. Okay, that are you already use. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. May I help you? May I know who is speaking? Do you have an appointment? Is there anything I can do to help you? Thank you for calling. Thanks for your order. Okay. We appreciate your interest in our products. Feel free to call, visit us about anything. So all these are the examples of one-liners frequently used in business communications. Okay. The next part is method of communication. So communication is either verbal or non-verbal. Okay, but in an organization or our daily working lives, communication can be categorized on the basis of the channel used, direction of information flow, and the means used to communicate. Okay, got it? So following figure shows you, this figure shows you the different types of communication. Okay, so on the basis of channel used, there are two types, formal, informal. On the basis of the direction, upward, downward, horizontal, diagonal, and on the basis of means used, we will have verbal, non-verbal, written, visual methods of communication. Okay, so now we will be learning one by one. Okay, so the various types of communications are explained here. First of all, it is on the basis of channel used. Now the formal communication. Formal communication ensures that communication should occur in a formal format or pattern that is acceptable in an organization. Okay, so it can be also called as the business communication or corporate communication. This type of communication involves the use of meeting, conferences, corporate letters, and written memos within the organization. Okay, and for informal communications, it is a free and uninhibited communication between two agents, parties, or people who share a rapport with each other. Okay, such communication needs two people who have same wavelengths or common interests. Thus, it involves communication between friends and family members. Okay, now on the basis of direction, we will have the communication type. The first communication type is upward, then downward, then horizontal, and then a diagonal. Okay, so we are talking first about upward direction, that is upward communication. So the communication when flows from the lower level to upper level of an organizational hierarchy, then it is known as the upward communication. If we take the example, suppose when an employee makes an request or appeal or communicates ideas to the superior, the flow of information is from bottom to top. Okay, so this form of communication is called upward communication. Now the next communication is downward communication. So when it is flows from upward to downward level of organizational hierarchy, then it is known as the downward communication. Suppose the example, when a superior issues order and instructs to subordinates, the flow of information is from top to bottom. Okay, this form of communication is called downward communication. Next part is horizontal communication. In horizontal communication, when the communication taking place among the members at the same level in the organization, then it is known as the horizontal communication. For example, a marketing manager may communicate the marketing plan to the production manager. Okay, so their level, okay. Next, that is diagonal communication. Diagonal communication refers to the communication that takes place between individuals in different departments and at the different levels of organizational hierarchy. Diagonal communication takes place when the head of the department at one branch of bank communicates with a cashier of other bank of the same branch. This type of communication is known as the diagonal communication. Okay. Now we will be talking on the basic of means. So here we will have four type of communication. One is verbal communication, then non-verbal communication, then written communication, and lastly visual communication. Verbal communication takes place with the help of sounds, words and language. This communication involves the act of speaking, which is an effective way of communication. Okay, so the verbal communication is broadly classified into two types: interpersonal communication and public speaking. Okay, interpersonal communication takes place between two or more people, generally at personal level, and on the other hand, public speaking involves single speaker and many audiences. Next is non-verbal communication. So it refers to the kind of communication that involves various characteristics such as tone of the voice, smell, touch and body motion. Such communication may involve symbols and sign languages that do not require words to be conveyed. For example, finger on lips is a sign of telling the other person to be silent. Okay. Now the second type of communication is written communication, that involves the use of emails, articles, reports and memos. Written documents need to be edited a number of times before they are conveyed to the intended individual, whether within or outside the organization. It may also be used for the purpose of informal communication, for example SMS, that is mobile short messaging service. Okay, and last one is visual communication. It involves the visual display of information such as photos, formats, signs, codes, symbols and designs. For examples, television, DVDs, CDs and other audio-visual aids of communication represent this type of communication. Okay, so now the part is perspectives in communication. Okay, communication is a two-way process and its success depends upon a cordial and conductive attitude as well as the receptivity from all the parties involved. Okay, some of the common factors they may affect the effectiveness of communications are here. Number one is visual perception. Then language, then past experience, then prejudices, then feelings or moods, then environmental and physical. Okay, so all these are the perspectives in communication.